Hey everybody, welcome to Bad Yogi Q&A Wednesday with me, Erin Motz, where I answer the questions that you guys send me via email and social media too. This week's question is pretty interesting, but it could come off a little antagonistic, so I'm going to read it anonymously. Alright, so this came to me on Instagram, and it says, I come from a wine-producing family, and I've been a yoga practitioner for over 2 decades. I do have a great appreciation for both, don't call me old-fashioned, but I cannot understand or support the connection between the two, nor do I believe that a great and inspiring yogi to many like you would be promoting on a yogic page alcohol as part of the lifestyle. With great respect, would love to hear your thoughts. Namaste. So I love this question, and I'm gonna answer it. I'm gonna give you all of my thoughts on this subject, and I also want this to kind of open up the discussion about the yogic lifestyle, the rules, and how they play into our everyday lives. I've been teaching yoga for almost 12 years now, and I've been practicing for longer than that. So I consider myself pretty familiar with the traditional yogic teachings. I have a deep respect for the practice, for the tradition, and I have an even deeper respect for those who devote themselves so profoundly to it. Now that being said, it's no secret that I'm also not that kind of teacher. So how do I rectify the life of indulgence and the life of more yogic purity? Honestly, I don't really feel I have to make a choice. The way I see it is, I'm a human being who happens to practice yoga, but my entire self-image doesn't revolve around my yoga practice. I want to take advantage of this very human experience with every sense that I have. I strive to be good, giving, considerate, present, forgiving, and that means sometimes imposing restrictions in some areas of my life, but also remaining wild and free in others. For example, I love animals, and as many of you know, I call myself a part-time vegan because I do stay away from animal product most of the time, because I just feel better in my body and in my conscience. But if I'm on a farm that produces its own meat and dairy, as I was just a couple weeks ago, I will absolutely savor the taste of everything that I can get because of the love and care that goes into the preparation. And I realize this sounds extremely hypocritical and oxymoronic to a lot of you, but that's completely okay because that's just my own opinion. So is this like cherry picking? Somebody brought this up, like if we just pick the values that we want to hold on to and dismiss the rest, are we really that serious about it? So I guess the answer technically is yes, it is cherry picking, but then I ask myself, who cares? I guess the way I see it is a human being determined what qualifies a yogi. So am I letting another human being impose rules on my life, or am I kind of making the rules for myself as I go? Rules that align with my own intrinsic values. So basically, maybe we're misunderstanding each other. My intention at Bad Yogi is never to encourage you to do anything you don't want to do. If you're vegan, I have no incentive or desire to get you to eat some bacon. Seriously. And if we were gonna go hang out and have lunch somewhere, you better believe I will make sure it is vegan friendly. So if you're asking where I'm coming from posting stuff like I do, like about wine or burgers or bacon or whatever it is, I don't take myself all that seriously. I find it funny to kind of wink at some of the indulgences that we take part in a little too often, or the little habits many of us maybe enjoy a little bit too much. I really believe that balance is optimal, but balance also leaves room for humor and levity. So if I have a funny thought about green juice or wine or bacon, you better believe I'm always going to share it. On a serious note, I have always tried my best to communicate that there is room for all of us. The way I live my life today is the most balanced, sincere, joy-inducing way for my right now self to live. I'm sure areas of this life will continue to grow and evolve and change as I myself do. But for right now, I feel good and I feel happy and I feel balanced, and I wish nothing more than for all of you to feel the exact same way. And a fun little side note, I talk a big game, but 9 times out of 10, I eat a lot of green stuff, I barely drink once a week, I never go to bars, and I love going to bed by 10 o'clock. So basically, what I'm trying to get at always with Bad Yogi is that whether you are a kale-loving, devout daily yogi, or a prize-winning deer hunter just getting their feet wet in the yoga practice, you are always welcome here. There's room for all of us in this world, and certainly within the yoga practice. And my promise to you is that I will always make room for everyone, regardless of where you fall on that spectrum. And if that part about the deer hunters made your fingers twitch in anticipation to write hateful comments, ask yourself why. Why would you believe that there is not room for everyone in the yoga practice? Would you say the same about a church not allowing a thief to come in and worship? Just food for thought. It's easy to make judgments about people being good or bad and make sweeping generalizations about our goodness as human beings. So I just think yogis tend to put themselves on a higher pedestal than a lot of other people, which maybe is normal, but you know, it's something that I think we need to evaluate when we fall into that habit of doling out judgment ourselves. And you know, while we're here asking uncomfortable questions, just to play devil's advocate, do you ever just think about the fact that all of this yoga lifestyle stuff was made up by another human being? So somewhere in history, another human set out some rules and guidelines that he thought were best to live by. So of course, if there is a certain set of rules and guidelines that really resonates with you, then by all means, stick to them. But when we do that, does it make us ultimately right? Or does it just make us another person with an opinion? So again, I'm really not imposing any conclusion on you. I just think it's interesting to think about, and I'm curious what your thoughts are. So there you have it. Today's Q&A, a little bit different. You've got some of my thoughts and opinions, and I want you to tell me what your take on all of this is. For free yoga classes, more Q&As, and other yoga inspiration, make sure you're on my list, which I will drop in the description below. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you right back here next week.